What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video where we will talk about Yves Bissouma because Liverpool are still trying to get the signing over the line. We are in the process of selling Xherdan Shaqiri to Lyon, and as soon as that transfer is done we have freed up one space in our squad for a foreign player, and Yves Bissouma is a very talented midfielder, so we will take a look at the detailed report. And I'm sorry I couldn't upload a post-match analysis video for the Norwich-Liverpool game, but I'm on holiday right now. I'm recording this video in advance, but as soon as I get home on Sunday evening I will post a post-match analysis video of the game, so stay tuned for that. And also, if you enjoy these transfer news updates, leave a like and subscribe if you are new around here. And in this video we will also talk about a very encouraging update to the Jordan Henderson contract situation via Jurgen Klopp. He said some very interesting things about that, and also we will talk about Jurgen Klopp's latest comments on the unlimited spending of Chelsea, Man City. And I want to say a huge thank you to OneFootball for sponsoring my channel for this month. OneFootball is the home of football, my favorite app. I've been using it for years. You can find all kinds of football news on there, and also you can find the stats, the latest transfer news. I have been going there almost every day checking the Liverpool transfer news because they combine the best and most interesting transfer news and football news. And you can find also interesting videos, stats, analysis, fantasy football tips, and all kinds of interesting football related content on the OneFootball apps, and it's completely free. So what are you waiting for? Make sure to download OneFootball using the link in the video's description, and you support the channel as well that way. But first let's talk about Yves Bissouma because Liverpool are still very interested in him, and Jurgen Klopp is a big fan of him, and the Brighton manager still is not sure whether Bissouma will stay at Brighton or go to Liverpool or to another club. Basically he left the door wide open. He said, I've been speaking about Yves Bissouma during the summer for quite some time and he's still here. That's all I can say on it. I can't control the future. I don't know what's going to happen. Essentially that's the beauty of life and football. So he basically left the door wide open to any club who wants to sign Bissouma. If they bid the right amount, I'm sure that Brighton will sell. I'm sure that Yves Bissouma, after a great season in the Premier League, even though Brighton only finished in 16th place, Brighton were better than what their league finish suggests. They just didn't have a striker who puts the ball in the back of the net. Obviously that's the most important part of football. They had a lot more chances than the goals that they scored. And Graham Potter also said Bissouma is with us, he's happy, he's smiling, he wants to play, he wants to keep improving his career, so he's taking the next steps in his football career. He's our player, and while he is still here we will do our best to help him. And Bissouma only has 2 years left on his contract, so if Brighton want to get decent money for him, they have to sell right now, otherwise they will lose like half of his value. If he leaves next summer, he will only have 1 year left on his contract, and at that time players usually go for a cut price deal. And also Bissouma probably wants to play for a bigger club. He's better than the level that Brighton has shown last season, and he stood out as one of their best players in many games. And they only signed him for £15 million in 2018. He already made 96 appearances, he scored 4 goals, and I think they are looking for around £30 million for Bissouma, and at that price he would be a very good Wijnaldum replacement. He's mainly a defensive player, but he can play as a box-to-box midfielder as well. He has bags of energy, and he also has a wicked shot. He scored an absolute banger last season. The problem is that Brighton are really not under pressure to sell. They are in the Premier League comfortably, so they have very good finances, and also they just sold Ben White to Arsenal for £50 million. And by the way, Arsenal's meltdown against Brentford on Friday evening was a joy to watch. I just honestly can't believe how far Arsenal have fallen. And Ben White played in a back three at Brighton. He had 2 very tall centre-backs next to him, Lewis Dunk and another centre-back, and I think Ben White is not very good in the air. He's not a very good header of the ball. He's not very tall. he's better with the ball at his feet. But against teams like Brentford, who play very direct, very physical football, and they took the game to Arsenal, they were convinced that they will beat Arsenal. So they were on the front foot. And yes, Arsenal missed some key players, but still the lack of fight, the lack of quality by Arsenal was staggering. And honestly, how Brentford managed to bully Arsenal once again is absolutely crazy, even though Brentford hasn't been in the Premier League since 1947. Can you believe that? And still, they pretty comfortably beat Arsenal. And yeah, Ben White for 50 million, it doesn't look like good business for Arsenal. They need to play a back three and they need to play two dominant centre backs next to Ben White if they want to get the best out of him. But circling back to Brighton, they are not, they have no pressure to sell from a financial point of view, but they have a pressure to sell from a contractual point of view, because as I said, Bissouma only has 2 years left on his contract, and I'm pretty sure he wants to further his career, Bissouma, but I think he's just waiting for the right opportunity. Of course, he's not a player who will demand to leave from Brighton, but I can certainly see a case where Liverpool sell Shaqiri, we free up a foreign player slot in the squad, and then we go in for Bissouma, because I think he would be a good value for money for 30 million. And Graham Potter also said that while the transfer window is open, you never know. That's how football is. That's the beauty of the transfer window. Lots of speculation. That's part of the noise. We have to spend the money wisely, which is the right player, the right person. If that comes along, then of course, then it helps us to help the group. We've got that possibility now with selling Ben White, but if not, we have to keep improving the players that we have here, and that's my job. And Fabrizio Romano also this summer said that Liverpool are planning to sign a new midfielder. They have a short list with 3 names. One of them is Bissouma from Brighton. It's an open race with many clubs but interested in Bissouma, but Liverpool have scouted him, and Fabrizio Romano also went as far as including Bissouma in his predicted 11 for Liverpool this season, so that is telling. And Fabrizio Romano kept saying that Liverpool will sign another player this summer. They just have to move on players. And once we sold enough players, that frees up a slot in the foreign player squad slots. So that way Liverpool will be able to sign a foreign player after we sold Shaqiri. And other sources said that Brighton would like to sell Bissouma, and they have prepared themselves to sell. Bissouma had strong interest from Liverpool based upon his performances in the Premier League. His numbers are extremely good, as well as the visual check, the eye test if you like. And the journalist said, I think there has been an issue with Bissouma in that he has something of a checkered past off the field, and as often happens these days when players go through further checks after they have been through the analytics filter and the on-field observational test, clubs can get more careful about doing a deal. So Liverpool are definitely keeping an eye on Bissouma. Maybe we will see how he performs on the first weekend for Brighton. They are playing Burnley, and then we will see what happens. The transfer window is still open for another 2 weeks, so a lot can happen in that time. And Liverpool correspondent James Neil Jones, who is a Liverpool-based journalist, he said that he can see Liverpool signing Yves Bissouma. He said one player, well, I was asked this before, and I said Bissouma is the one player that I could see happening for Liverpool. I know there has been a bit of denial from sources around Liverpool, but I think there's interest there, and he certainly fits the bill. And even Fabrizio Romano confirmed that Liverpool have scouted Bissouma extensively last year, and many journalists have claimed that the Bissouma is one of the midfield targets for Liverpool, and it all depends on who is available. Now that the season is starting, not a lot of clubs want to sell one of their main midfielders, but the right offer would tempt Brighton into selling Bissouma. And I absolutely loved what Jurgen Klopp said about the richest clubs in the world, Man City, Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain, and their basically unlimited spending and their funding through like ill means, through oligarchs and through like whole countries whose wealth was built on oil and employing hundreds of thousands of slaves, and every day slaves were dying. So Jurgen Klopp said this about these clubs. I'm never surprised about the financial power of Chelsea or Man City or Man United or Paris Saint-Germain. I'm long enough in the country to know they always find a solution to do these kind of things. We all know the situation of Chelsea, we all know the situation of Man City, we all know the situation of PSG, for example. Man United, I don't know exactly how they do it, but we have obviously our way to do it. Since I've been in, it has always been the same. We can spend, and we are allowed to spend the money we earn. That's what we always did. We cannot compare with the other clubs. They obviously don't have any limits. We have limits. We were quite successful even when having limits in the last few years, and that's what we shall try again, and not use it as an excuse. If we don't win a game, we won't say it's because we didn't sign that player or that player. We want to use our sources. That's passion, a good way, a desire, a clear plan, direction, flexibility. That's our football. That's what we want to use. Let's see which is the right way. We cannot spend money we don't have. We cannot. Maybe others can, but we can't. At Liverpool, we operate on a budget, and we only spend money that the club earn. And I think Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp is very, very dignified, and also is very adamant that this is the right way to run a football club. When you have an unlimited source of money, in the case of the United Arab Emirates, who fund Man City, or in the case of Qatar, who fund Paris Saint-Germain, or in the case of a Russian billionaire like Roman Abramovich funding Chelsea, they have basically unlimited amounts of money, so they can spend whatever they like. And I think that shouldn't be allowed in football. I think you should only be allowed to spend what you earn. But financial fair play nowadays is an absolute joke. It's an absolute mockery of the rules, and it's not really properly enforced when you can just hire like 40-year lawyers like Man City did and get out of a 2-year Champions League ban because of a technicality, basically, where Man City was found guilty, but because it was more than 5 years ago, it expired according to the law, according to the rules, and that's just an absolute joke that they didn't punish Man City when they started spending like incredible, crazy money. And Jurgen Klopp also explained how Liverpool uses different methods to keep improving the squad. He said, "I really understand the fans. I'm in my 6th year here. And apart from the year when we signed Alisson and Virgil van Dijk, it was always the same. It always looks like we don't sign enough and don't do enough. We work constantly on improving the team. On one part of it is signing new players. The most important thing, and I think our fans appreciate this as well, is having a group together who is fun to watch, exciting to watch, who is fighting together, who is definitely 100% committed to the club and the values of the club. We have that. Let's fight with all we have, and whatever happens until the end of pre-season, the end of the transfer window, we will see. We cannot just add on players to this squad and say, let's have look how that works, because you have to look at the squad the whole year. And Jurgen Klopp also commented on Virgil van Dijk signing a new contract. He said that that's great news. Imagine if we would have to buy Virgil van Dijk, or a player who has the quality of Virgil van Dijk now. Thank God we only have to give him a new contract, because we wouldn't be able to afford Virgil van Dijk right now. He would go for 120 million. For us, it's our way. Jurgen Klopp said, we keep the team together. That's an important part of business as well. I know it's not as exciting as it is with signing new players to the outside world, and it looks always the same, that if you don't sign, then you don't work. But that's not the case. If you are a real Liverpool fan, then you are really happy with the news the club delivered in the last few weeks, signing Alisson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Fabinho, Virgil van Dijk to new contracts, and others will follow. If other teams wanted to sign these players, they would have to pay a lot of money, and we have them already. And I think that's a very, very good comment, and that's why I love listening to press conferences of Jurgen Klopp, because he always explains the idea behind running Liverpool and how it works, and I absolutely love listening to the man. He is my favorite manager of all time. And of course, the two most important players to extend their contracts now that is left is Jordan Henderson and Mohamed Salah. And Jurgen Klopp offered an update on the Jordan Henderson situation. Jurgen Klopp was asked how important it was that a contract extension resolution was found with Henderson. He said, that's important, but we will do it. We will sort it, however it will be, but we will sort it, no doubt about that. And he said, I spoke to Henderson yesterday, and it looked like he's in good shape ahead of the new campaign, so he is in contention to play against Norwich. And I think that's absolutely fantastic news that Liverpool are looking to extend the contract of Henderson, and it looks like Jurgen Klopp is pretty convinced that we will sign him to a new contract because you just can't lose your captain and one of your most important midfielders in the team when Liverpool are still building a really great core of players, and keeping them at Liverpool is very important. Jurgen Klopp also said, it's not my position to judge what other clubs do. The thing I love most about football is that it is not about having the best players. It always gives you a chance to win a football game. Very often we had the better players on the pitch and lost. If we face a team who has better players than us, I don't see that, to be honest, then at least we have a chance. Of course, all the players that all the clubs signed have real quality, and yes, if Harry Kane is really going to Man City, that would not make them worse. It is incredible, but City were the best team last year and still didn't win exactly what they wanted. That's the situation. There are different things you can do in football. There is no criticism. I don't 100% understand how it is possible, but it seems to be possible for them to sign big money players each summer. Why should I now be sitting here now saying we should sign him or we need that player, this player? My job is to work with the players we have, and I love working with these players. I love each second. Now let's start the season, let's play the best football we can, and when we play one of these big squads, we will try to win the game with all we have, and that's the mentality that you need. You don't need the best players, don't need the best squad. You just need a squad and a team capable of beating the best teams. And Jurgen Klopp showed that in recent years, that no matter what team Liverpool puts out, they always have a chance to beat even the best teams in the world. And now I think Liverpool have probably like 7 players in their starting 11 who are world class, so let's hope that is the case, that we show it on the pitch, and hopefully those 7 players, none of them get a long-term injury this season, because I think that will be key to winning the title. Because if Liverpool can keep most of their best team on the pitch throughout the season, they have one hell of a chance. If we get serious injuries to 2 or 3 key players, then that's where Man City's advantage kicks in, that's where Chelsea's advantage kicks in, that they have a deeper squad, a bigger squad, more quality players on the bench. But certainly Liverpool's starting 11, I think, is one of the best in the Premier League, and we have a great chance to win the title this season. And Jurgen Klopp also confirmed that Harvey Elliott is in the first team squad and he will stay there during the season. He said that's the plan. Elliott is part of the first team squad now. We don't treat him like an 18-year-old boy, at least in training. Off the pitch he is much more a kid than on the pitch. He brings a different dimension into the game. Dribbling, top passing range. He played the top preseason, but so did Kyle Gordon, and he's only 16 years old. We have to show we are a club that gives opportunities to these players, and I think that's also important, that when you are a young player, you wouldn't sign for Liverpool if you saw that the young players have no chance of getting into the team. But when you see Harvey Elliott, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kyle Gordon, other young players getting a chance, getting a proper shot at Liverpool and playing regularly in the first team, I think that it's just better for Liverpool long term, because then we can sign more young players who have a great talent on a cheaper contract and low transfer fees. And Harvey Elliott could turn into a £100 million player, and we signed him for less than 10 million. So that is absolutely brilliant business by Liverpool. And that wraps up today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget, as soon as I get home, I will record a post-match video for the Norwich-Liverpool game. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. See you later, guys. Goodbye.